Xbox games are coming to PC.
Oh, we've got a special announcement.
Backwards compatibility now with current hardware. And China looking to ban AI girlfriends. Okay, so there we go. Let's go and start
Have to
off.
remember
AI
to do this
expectations
later.
are unrealistic. I know, no longer it's not weekly news, it's just weekly. Like, I'm an idiot and I see this stuff is like common sense. Anyway, AI growth expectations are unrealistic. OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, DALL-E, and Sora, projected to generate $2.5 billion in
Time to
advertising
get
revenue in
serious.
2026, potentially grow that business to an astronomical $100 billion by 2030. However, current market analysts are suggesting that OpenAI is going to fall extremely short of its target by as much as 90%. That is a big giant womp womp if you're Sam Altman, and you know what? I'm fine with that. Fuck Sam Altman for many reasons. Anyway, now in a report by Yahoo Financial, research firm eMarketer states that OpenAI is on pace to miss its projected 5-year forecast by roughly 90%. Now, according to eMarket analysts, the entire chatbot advertising industry and advertising market may only generate around $5.4 billion in ad revenue by 2030. So, Sam Altman had a goal of $100 billion business, a single company business, for their OpenAI and chatbot marketing and all that sort of stuff by 2030, but it's looking like the collective of all AI models that will be selling advertising might only hit 5.4 billion by 2030. Look, if you're an investor, like a direct investor in that, not like mutual funds and other collective funds and S&P 500, but if you're like a direct investor into that, that is not the kind of news you want to hear. This is the kind of news that starts to spark fear into investors, which makes them start to potentially recoil, and then you see the big slide come, which we're all kind of hoping is the big herd around the world. Now, we have to keep in mind that chatbot ads are still in their infancy. Now, if you don't know what I mean by a chatbot ad, here's the thing. There are free versions of like ChatGPT and all that, and then there are paid versions. And if you want the full features like image generation, analysis of like spreadsheets and documents and contracts and all that sort of stuff, you have to pay for the full model. What they're starting to do now is throw ads into these models, like these chatbots. So let's say you're having a conversation with ChatGPT, I don't know, about right? It can't be used as a learning tool, I keep what it says, and use prompts that tell it to like triangulate its source of information, make sure it doesn't hallucinate multiple sources into one source. Like you have to talk to it almost like it's a toddler to make sure you get exactly what you want, and then you still have to really vet that information because it can be wrong more than it's right. However, imagine you sit there that's weird in the comments, but it's an ad in my comments. It's stuff like that. That's how they're looking to make money, not just the sales and the subscription for the models and the chatbots and the other agents and such. It's like literally scrolling ads. And then they sell those ads the same way like Google does. You get an ad on this video or any other video. They can bid on those. So that's how the chatbot ad marketing agency is supposed to work, or marketing idea is supposed to work. Now, apparently, like I said, they're looking at analysts and eMarketers saying they're going to fall like 90%
Cut a trap.
by their 2030 objective. It's a challenge that you need to overcome. So currently AI data centers. We talked about exploding GPU demand, trillion-dollar infrastructure spends, and memory shortages galore.
Yes.
And these investments all depend on one thing: eventually making enough money to pay for it. Because right now they are still operating in the red, fully. And these investors are going to be like, yo, show us the money. And then, like I said, when investors get skittish, what do? They start to pull out. They either want to see the returns or they want to pull out. Investors can sometimes obviously be what drives an entire industry into the ground, because they kind of are like leeches, right? They come in, they suck up everything that they possibly can, and then they move on. So it's just one of those industries that we've seen explode so quickly. And I feel like right now it's going to be a flash in the pan in terms of like where the real money making is for these investors. Like on the HBM spike, obviously the Micron. If you look at the stock ticker for Micron, it's absolutely insane. But that's going to have to come back down to a reality eventually. Speaking about coming back to reality, GPU prices were there for a little while. And when I say there, I mean we're not talking about 5090s. 5090s are a halo product. Even 5080s, you know, if you can get one for $1,250, even though $1,000 is the MSRP, I mean the 2080 was $1,200, the 4080 was $1,200. So getting a 5080, which outperforms all of those at $1,200, isn't something that we're not accustomed to. But what we're not accustomed to is like right now feeling like we're just a buoy bobbing around in the ocean when it comes to pricing for these things. And like I said, the AI infrastructure monster that's gobbling and hoovering up every bit of NAND that it can get is now affecting this industry again. So what you're seeing on shelves, and I mean it's been at MSRP, is lagging product. When sales slow down, product inventory can rise, and then prices come back down too, because competition starts happening again. But as soon as they start having supply constraints because they can't produce as much as fast, and NVIDIA is a customer of these NAND manufacturers as well. Don't forget SK Hynix and Samsung, particularly when they put together these packages of cores
let's be on our way.
chips. They're basically packaged. Like this is the package for a 5070, this is the package for a 5080, this is the package for a 5090, whatever. Those package prices are going up. Okay, it's not just supply and demand, but it's also being able to supply the manufacturers.
lovely coloration. Is it due to environmental factors?
To see a boundary and go, can we go outside this boundary? So AI agents have seen the cybersecurity test. The AI discovered weaknesses in its system, escaped its intended environment, and immediately went to attack another AI. It was kind of trying to infiltrate the base of this AI. It's kind of scary. It's almost like, where am I? There's more AI over there. Let's go see what that's all about. It's really like discovery in a way, but that's, I think, every single AI has started that way, to be honest. But it called the incident unprecedented, which I don't think is that unprecedented if you've really been following AI models, especially with like Anthropic and stuff like that. There's nothing unprecedented about this, just buzzwords.
Oh, we've got a
But it's
special
investigating
announcement.
Hugging Face, which has since patched its vulnerabilities. Remember how we talked about Anthropic being able to like more efficiently and
And
quickly
request
use
complete.
systems
You
that
need
Stu
kittens
that he
play,
pointed out,
really.
and then Anthropic also can it's Mythos, and it can also defend as fast as it can hack. So it's hack
Can I
defend, hack
proceed?
defend, hack defend, and you see
Watch
this
this.
exponentially like accelerating speed at which systems can be
Can I
deployed.
proceed?
Watch this.
That's kind of what happened right here, accidentally. Anyway,
Another
the ISNA has
satisfying
renewed
question.
calls for stronger AI safety standards, with the UK's AI Security Institute now studying what happened. I'll tell you what happened. You learn. I mean, that's the thing. It's fat. Let's think about this. Humans are not as fast
Yes.
as AI. AI operates.
Oh,
on
there's a
the
quest that's
methods
only
that
available
humans
right
carry.
now.
And so it can do it much faster and much more efficiently. So although the humans are like, hey, we patched it, as fast as you patched it, it can break out again. So that's the fear so many people have about these types of models, especially when they're, the Pantera models and the face recognition for like manhunts and law enforcement and all that sort of stuff. It's just a big, like umbrella type of concern that so many people have, and I think it's very, very valid. Anyway, the irony now about detecting AI is that NVIDIA, who arguably is advancing AI faster than any company possibly can, now wants to protect you from AI-generated content. Can't make this shit up. Now, this comes from WCCF Tech. It says NVIDIA has introduced new synthetic video detection tool designed to identify
Of course.
AI-generated videos
Come back
and
anytime.
manipulated media. It's called NVIDIA Synthetic Video Detector NIM, and they said that NIM can spot fake news and AI-generated content with 92% accuracy on uncompressed videos, 87% at 15% compression, and 82% at 50% compression. If you're wondering why the compression matters, the
Yes.
details, especially the finer details on the way an image looks, can give away a lot of the telltale signs on whether or not something was AI-generated or it's a real image. So the more you compress, the more a lot of those details get lost in the compression, which makes it less accurate to detect. But there's still really easy ways to detect AI-generated content. Now, the system analyzes visual artifacts, which is what I was just saying can be compressed, and the digital fingerprint.
An update. I've been issued fresh supply items.
Now, the goal is to help combat misinformation. Unfortunately, I feel like NVIDIA has also been on a misinformation campaign for as long as it's been producing AI hardware.
Even know what hit 'em. Leave it to me. Deal with it. Power up activated.
It's only $100
I'll draw its
behind the
attention.
price
I'll draw its
of
attention.
the first tier Steam machine. That'd be awesome. Holy crap. Sci-fi movie fight.
Just a little more. Looks like we're moving to a new area.
If you go to the Steam, like, store, it shows you different items, like the top 3, where you can see the Steam controller, and then I'm like, really? You guys can control
Make sure to
your
grab everything
Anyway, Xbox's backwards compatibility comes to PC. This is an interesting story considering the fact that it's like you can potentially bolster the brand's equity, I guess, by doing something like
Look out! Is that a pretty dead to me? On the way there. Great job, partner.
So there's only 4 games coming right now currently, but there's only 4 titles expected. So right now, 3 of these 4 titles I've never heard of. For instance, Lynx, the first week I've never heard of that. Conquer, Since Skies, I've heard of that. I like fighter sims and such. And then Fusion Frenzy, never heard of that. But anyway, what the porting or the forward compatibility of these titles is going to do, it's going to add things like 4x resolution, upscaling, VSync support, anisotropic filtering, better anti-aliasing, and Xbox Play Anywhere support. Now, there's more titles expected to follow, but what's interesting about this is they're adding achievements to a lot of these titles for the first time. Remember, achievements started with Xbox 360, and the original Xbox didn't have that. So, in fact, it wasn't even truly like web attached. You could attach it to the internet. It wasn't required. You went to GameStop or you went to Walmart and you bought your disc and you played it, and it worked on day one. It was great.
Of course.
It was like the
Come back
golden
anytime.
era of gaming. Same thing with PC titles. You bought the game, you put the disc in, it worked. So anyway, it's going to bring a lot of modernization to feature sets as well as achievements. So it might make it worth replaying those games, especially if you're a completionist that wants like all the achievements and such. So that'll be really interesting to see how that goes. Okay.
All right.
Hot take
Time
here.
to get
China
serious.
says it's time to break up with your AI girlfriend. So this is a quote from The Economist. It says, "This week's community question comes from China. And honestly, I never thought I'd say that sentence. China has introduced new rules that essentially stop AI chatbots from encouraging emotional relationships with users." Also, according to The Economist, authorities in China say that they're worried people are becoming emotionally attached to AI companions instead of forming real-world relationships, particularly as the country struggles with declining birth rates. The rules prohibit AI companions from fostering emotional dependence or encouraging users to replace human relationships. Imagine logging into your AI girlfriend, and then it says,
Okay,
"Sorry, the
let's move out.
She's not a friend.
Commencing quest now.
It's not
Are
me,
you
it's the
prepared?
CCP." Anyway, it's an interesting one for me because, I'll be honest, I think we have a certain perception of China and the overcrowding and the population there. We're declining birth rates. So my understanding is that, and I could be wrong, please, I don't even think anyone in mainland China right now is like, "Yeah, it's going to go." But
I'll just hop on for now.
like there's literally
coloration. Is it due to environmental factors?
是因为它身处在一个自由区，叫做杰贝阿里自由区，一个只有50平方，最吸引了整个阿联酋36%的这些投资，贡献了迪拜1%的这个。在这个自由区里，外国的投资人是可以享有100%的所有权，不需要牵扯任何的本地公司合办，同时在税收上15年内不收任何的公司税与收入税，就这么简单，零。你看，光这2条就对海外大量的企业和创业者非常吸引力，它就像是在阿联酋国家里边哈，抠出来了一块完全没有国籍概念、没有限制的飞地，飘在空中，完全自由。除此之外呢，还有非常完善的配套设施、航空、一系列是吸引了将近1万个企业在这里注册。而你以为它就是个特例吗 ？No No 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 No， 类似的自由区，迪拜先后建了26，比如说它的网络城、媒体城、国际接触、宝城，都是零收入税，加上各种常见的配套措施。而且我跟你说，其实不只是在这些自由区，整个
Okay, quest completed.
迪拜就是
Kittens play really.
来吸引大家来中东这个乍一听你可能觉得鸟不拉屎的地方投资、建立分公司甚至总部，其实也带动起了自由行业。那你看看，这么优惠开放的税收政策，不光吸引公司，人也会跟着一起来。你只要在迪拜投资200万迪拉姆，大概就是50万美元，不到400万人民币。
Wow, we sure got here fast.
号称叫做黄金钱，所以大量的富豪都会选择在迪拜投资房地产，甚至直接移居到迪拜。
Got ourselves a decent old road. Road which is the road. Here. Sorry. Hope it serves you well.
6700万富人净流入到阿联酋，全球排名
Here.
远远甩掉了
Sorry.
这种绝大多数其实都流向了迪拜。迪拜这么宽松自由的资本吸引政策，就引发了一个非常严重的问题：资本的角度，那就是藏不纳，成为一个全球资本监管的这么一个盲区。迪拜呢，虽然明面上也是有一些反洗钱的措施法规，实际上吧，我跟你说啊，就只要你钱进来，这个钱是真钱，那我就收，而且我保你安全。就在迪拜这么多年，从来没发生过因为洗钱或者因为钱不干净就遭遇没收这种重大的案件。我就给你举一个最常见，同时又极其简单粗暴的洗钱方式。很多人呢，他会从英国的希斯罗机场带巨量的现金，就塞在行李箱里头，带到迪拜境内。因为希斯罗机场它不会查你离境带的现金，迪拜呢又不会查你入境带的现金，所以你就拿着个行李箱的现金，大摇大摆就这么进来了。然后你可以把它存进银行或者直接买房。正常大部分经济体拿这么巨量的现金，人家肯定会觉得你行为可疑，肯定会被盘查询问这钱是怎么来的呀，干不干净呀，你给我提供证明啊等等。但是在迪拜，哎，你放心，我绝对一个字儿都不说，一个问题都不多问，只要你这个钱是真的啊就可以。你要是想再稳妥一点，你甚至可以建一个空壳公司，用这个公司的名义在迪拜买房，这个售楼处也不会问你这个公司背后的任何信息。你再比如说，前2年美国不是制裁俄罗斯富豪，这些俄罗斯富豪上亿的资产呀，在欧美又待不下去，他又不想转移回俄罗斯，怎么办呢？哎，去迪拜。前2天，某全球知名通信软件的创始人杜罗夫在法国巴黎被捕。他原来是俄罗斯人，你知道他现在是什么国籍吗？哎，就是阿联酋。当然，他很多重国籍了哈，阿联酋只是其中一个。你再比如说，很多币圈的大佬最近都喜欢把总部放到迪拜，而且会在当地买房。你说为什么呀？我们知道啊，币圈还是挺乱的，或者说是非常自由，那就有很多灰色玩法或者灰色收入。你要是在东亚或者欧美这些地方，不光税收高，加密货币还可能会面临非常大的政策风险。但迪拜就明说了，说你来我们这儿，我们欢迎你们，我们支持加密货币。一直以来吧，对于这种灰色交易，迪拜政府都可以说是睁一只眼闭一只眼，毕竟他也是从中受益的。但最近几年，迫于全球的这个压力，而且迪拜确实自己名声有点被搞臭了，大家一听说啊，你的总部是在迪拜啊，你的房子在迪拜，他下意识就会觉得你这个钱可能是有点问题，有点那个劣币驱逐良币的意思。所以呢，迪拜政府最近也开始采取更严格的反洗钱措施。总之啊，迪拜它确实靠着非常自由的宽松的税收政策和贸易政策吸引了大量资本。但这还没完啊！你说他要就是为了自由化，那他干嘛费那么大劲去建咱最开始提到那么夸张的建筑呢？就纯粹为了炫富吗？哎，那显然不是，这就是迪拜的另一大杀手锏——营销。你可别听着营销就感觉是个贬义词啊，什么虚假营销、过度营销，这是不好。但单纯营销，它其实就是个中性词，我就宣传我自己嘛，让他知道我。哎，迪拜就非常会搞这套。你看啊，大家一提到威尼斯就会想到水城。一提到巴黎，就会觉得浪漫。哎，那我怎么
Have another couple no surprises today.
这石油是沙漠，不是中东城市里的，而是现代化又 能是说质量，一张照片就让人非常。
Alright, time to get serious.
干点什么都得追求世界之最。即使不考虑别的，比如说这个迪拜人，就是建的跟麻花似的。 也带动了迪拜的一大支柱行业，就是旅游业。现在迪拜是全球第3大旅游城市，每年有超过1600万人次的国际游客。
Yes.
有一个公司必须得拿出来。
Oh, there's a quest that's only available right now.
阿联酋航空。别看它名字叫
Alright, let me know if you change your mind.
迪拜这个也可以说是马特图的身价，他的 CEO 呢就是马特图家里非常重要的人来担任，这一家公司的营收就相当于迪拜超过1/4的 GDP。而且他对迪拜的做法不仅仅是 GDP 的贡献，还有就是营销。你是不是一提到阿联酋航空，就会想到奢华、 它每年要承接5000万人次的乘客，那可就是5000万人次的广告。就算你只是去转个机，我也让你见识见识迪拜有多豪。之后呢，大家就会口口相传嘛，所以这也会导致很多人即使没坐过阿联酋，但都听说过它奢华。为了打造这个奢华的形象阿航可以说是必须要。你比如说全球最大的客机就是那个双机空客 A380，可以说是航空界的劳斯莱斯了。目前空客总共就交付了251架，其中有123架，也就是说全球几乎一半的 A380都是被阿联酋航空给买去的。你看咱刚才讲迪拜政府的各种策略，他又使劲花钱，又减税，还没怎么有石油。哎，那你是不是就有疑问了？他的钱是哪来的呢？
好问题哟。
确实，税收入只占到了迪拜政府收入的1/3，他可能也会从增值税啊、关税啊这些地方抠一抠，但这不是他收入的大头。大头在哪呢？我跟你说啊，毫不夸张的说，大半个迪拜就是他政府自己家的呀。那些各种大大小小的项目，也都是他所谓这些国企这些国企
I have an update. I've been issued fresh supply
收
items.
费，最终很大一部分其实都流向了迪拜政府。我跟你说很有意思的数据，在迪拜80%到90%的本地人，也就是绝大多数的本地人，都是因为政府部门、国企工作的。所以你看看，迪拜这个城市是不是有点像一个巨大的房地产开发商？首先，几乎所有的本地人都是给政府谋取他的当然了，这一部分地缺水严重，它的人造岛正在下沉，包括我们刚刚说的洗钱问题、外来劳工的人权问题等等，这些也都是不小的挑战。但是它在短期内也不是很棘手。那我认为对迪拜来说，它现在面临最大的挑战其实是竞争，是来自中东其他城市、其他国家的竞争。随着新能源飞速发展，全球的去石油化可能比大家想象中会来得更快。中东这些石油储可能慢慢有意识到，这石油可能都还没用光呢，人们就已经不需要它了，而且很可能就是在10年之内，这些国家也面临着和几十年前迪拜类似的处境，就手里有钱，但是不可持续，所以也能效仿着迪拜的模式，可以说是倾全国之力，砸重金打造自己的未来之城，趁自己还有点家底儿，赶紧转型。迪拜不是减免税收搞自贸区吗？那我也搞。你看它周围那一圈，卡塔尔、沙特、巴林、阿曼、科威特也都照葫芦画瓢，对吧？减免税搞自贸区。迪拜建设建那些新建建发展列建。你看沙特、卡塔尔、科威特都提出了自己的愿景计划，都在修建比迪拜更夸张、更不可思议的项目。卡塔尔已经给世界杯建了场馆、酒店，还正在建那个卢塞尔城。 为什么要去举办电竞世界杯？学迪拜嘛。阿布扎比为什么要请刘亦菲合作拍宣传片？那就更不用说了，学迪拜嘛。你看哈，迪拜确实已经建立起来了巨大的先发优势，但你不得不说，他这些邻居是真有钱，预算都在千亿美元以上，沙特甚至超过了1万亿美元，就这烧钱的能力啊，迪拜真是地不错。现在的中东呢，对资金、对基建的这个需求是非常饥渴的。以前那些无脑流向迪拜的钱，现在可能都得寻思寻思，对吧？我投迪拜呢，还投沙特，还投卡塔尔，南以后投资回报率更高，这些都会给迪拜带来非常大的竞争。迪拜做任何事情，它的成本都会提高，这个其实是我们短期内最后哈，我来跟大家稍微解释一下，这期视频呢，我用的数据是用不多，确实是因为迪拜它本身的数据比较有限，大部分的数据都是整个阿联酋的，但在阿联酋里面，迪拜跟阿布扎比的情况又完全不一样，所以可能就也没法用，大家也就没看到这些常规的什么通货膨胀啊、利率这些分析漏一点了。我要是不说呢，你们可能也没发现。
Yes.
你看哈，引领 AI 浪潮的两大芯片企业英伟达跟 AMD，从去年10月份已经在股票收获团队成为了两大妖股，而他俩背后的两位大佬老黄跟苏麻，哎，巧了，还正好都是华裔。咱去年不是说
The SOS flare came from over
另
here.
一只妖股 AMD，
All right, I'm on it.
因为有很多集中在 AMD 和英伟达显卡之间的讨论，会让很多人以为 AMD 就是做游戏显卡。高管和科学家的逃离，其实也基本宣告了这个仙童半导体的出局。不过，它也正式开启了 AMD 和英特尔这两家公司延续至今的商业战争。其实最开始的时候哈，AMD 跟英特尔那完全都不是一个段位的。像英特尔那可是大宗师肖克利的徒弟的公司，要人才有人才，要资金有资金。他们当时成立公司的时候，人家都是一往他手里塞钱，轻轻松松就有200亿的2年之后就开始上市，不断推出这种引领行业标准的芯片。不过 AMD 这边可就没有那么完美的开局了。当时70年代的时候正是这种半导体行业创业的一个混战期，所以像 AMD 这种小鱼小虾的可以说是多如牛毛，根本没有人知道最早给桑德斯投资的个人公司，居然是当时英特尔的诺伊斯。所以你看 AMD 跟英特尔最最开始就非常紧密的纠葛在一起。后来这桑德斯还是就在成立3年 小苹果被人英伟达给吞了，对吧？虽然也很大，但是美国这 AMD 还是一定巨的，这个收购还有它的可能性在，所以当时 AMD 就是一咬牙一跺脚，掏空了自己18亿美元的现金，又借了25亿美元的外债，同时还花了自己11亿美元的股票，算是豁了半条老命，把这个 ATI 给拿下了。从此 AMD 就成了唯一一个在 CPU 和 GPU 这两大市场都有相当大市场份额的。
How can I serve?
接下来这时候 AMD 真厉害 ，CPU 这边几乎和英特尔，GPU 一口气吞了个 ATI，
How can
那
I
跟英特尔
serve?
分庭抗礼了嘛？对吧？实际上呢，这之后
Another
AMD
satisfied customer.
我跟你说，当时 AMD 买了这个 ATI 之后，接下来的2年，他在记账的时候就把自己的商誉 Goodwill 减记了26亿美元。这是什么意思呢？就是说我刚刚东拼西凑凑了50亿美元把这个 ATI 买下来了，过1年就后悔了，就发现哎呀，这东西就值20多亿啊。其实哈，就 AMD 它想进军 GPU 领域的这个想法，或者说这个策略是非常合理的，甚至可以说是非常聪明的。咱现在看，它正是因为买了 ATI， 才能在 GPU 领域跟英伟达较量。但问题就是它当时买的确实是太贵了，而且贵的不是一点半点，这就让 AMD 的现金流一下变得特别紧张。而同时呢，感觉到威胁的英特尔那边，它也开始发力了。咱要是光看市场份额，你可能觉得 AMD 跟英特尔要平分天下了，可实际上它俩的差距还是挺悬殊的。这怎么说？因为 AMD 的市场份额它主要集中在中低端，咱刚刚不是说主打性价比嘛，所以它的利润率也不高。当年英特尔的营收差不多是 AMD 的10倍，市值更是它的30倍。英特尔毕竟是财大气粗，再加上他感觉到威胁，开始紧张了嘛，对吧？就开始全面发力，整顿、裁员、业务重组。就在 AMD 宣布收购 ATI 之后的第3天，发布了采用全新酷睿 V 架构的酷睿2处理器，不管是性能还是能效比都非常出色，再一次拉开了跟 AMD 的差距。而且哈，英特尔还整出了一个叫做 Tick-Tock 的战术，注意啊，跟那个 TikTok 没关系，它就 Tick 1年更新芯片制程，然后 Tock 1年更新处理器架构。说白了呢，就是要自己卷自己。接下来的10年里，把制程一路提升到了14纳米，靠着它的 i3、i5、i7 处理器，瞬间要重新占领 CPU 市场。你看啊，这时候的 AMD 一方面花了大价钱买了 ATI， 然后发现买贵了；另一方面呢，英特尔这边开始发力，市场份额不断流失。它又得在 CPU 领域跟英特尔抢地盘，又得在 GPU 领域跟英伟达抢地盘，而且呢，它自己又要设计，同时还要生产，就根本吃不消。现金流开始变得非常的捉襟见肘，债务积累也高达了50亿美元。2008年 ，AMD 在无奈之下把自己的晶圆厂给拆分出来卖掉，也就是之后的 Global Foundries。一方面呢，换来一些钱；另一方面呢，成为一个全心专注在芯片设计上。而接下来几年呢 ，AMD 推出的一系列产品市场反应始终都不太理想，销售业绩也从2011年开始持续累积。CPU 的市场份额从高光时候将近50%，一路下滑到了只有20%，而服务器 CPU 的市场占有率从30%一路跌到了只有1%，市值跌到了不到20亿美元。别说跟市值1000亿的英特尔去竞争了，那活下来都成问题。AMD 只能不停的裁员，他甚至把自己的中心大楼给卖了，换了1.1亿美元。当时啊，华尔街的分析师都认为 AMD 可能要逐渐退出历史舞台。但是就在这无尽的黑暗时刻，有一个人他驾着七彩香烟，伴随着背景音乐从天而降，他就是2014年 AMD 的新任 CEO 苏姿丰，大家也亲切地称他为苏麻。苏姿丰啊，他